Nikki Haley has entered the GOP presidential race, becoming the first candidate to challenge Donald Trump for the nomination. The former South Carolina governor and former UN ambassador made the announcement this week. Here's a brief clip from her first ad campaign.
Some look at our past as evidence that America's founding principles are bad. They say the promise of freedom is just made up. Some think our ideas are not just wrong, but racist and evil. Nothing could be further from the truth. I have seen evil. In China, they commit genocide. In Iran, they murder their own people for challenging the government. And when a woman tells you about watching soldiers throw her baby into a fire, it puts things in perspective. Even on our worst day, we are blessed to live in America.
Joining us to share her thoughts is Marie Fischer of Project 21, a leadership network of conservative Black Americans. So what do you think about Nikki Haley jumping into the presidential race? Does she have a shot against Donald Trump?
She might have a shot because I look at it this way. She does have the foreign policy experience and she has domestic experience being, former governor of South Carolina. So I think she has a very good shot.
Well, she talks about restoring unity and focusing on what makes America good, a new generation of leadership. And it looks like another South Carolinian, Tim Scott, the only Black Republican in the U.S. Senate, may soon jump into the presidential race with a similar optimistic theme. So what do you think about his potential candidacy, and how might that hurt Nikki Haley's chances to win over Black voters?
I'm not sure if it's going to hurt or help. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be about who people think can go up against, since supposedly Biden is going to run again. It's going to be who they think can go against Biden and beat Biden. And especially with all the disastrous policies that we're seeing coming from this administration, I'll be honest, I honestly think almost all three could beat Biden.
Well, let's talk about this. President Biden's expected to soon announce his reelection campaign, despite a January inflation rate that just came in at 6.4%. One survey shows 59% of Black voters want Biden to run for re-election. He received about 87% of the Black vote in 2020. Can he count on Black voters to put him over the top again in 2024? Why or why not?
I don't think he can anymore. I think I'll be honest, I think a lot of the vote in 2020 wasn't a for Biden. It was an anti-Trump, because the media has spun Trump to be, like such a bad person. And in hindsight, a lot of these people are saying, oh my goodness, we did have it good. We had it better, despite what happened with COVID, and COVID was an anomaly. But before COVID came along, we were doing great as a country. We had high unemployment, high employment, true employment, not the pseudo, employment figures that they keep touting out. At the same time, you have people who are losing jobs. People can't find jobs because the numbers they're spewing out from the administration is just people who are looking. And as we all know, a lot of people have stopped looking for jobs. They've sort of dropped out, either create their own businesses or some just given up because the government makes it so easy not to work anymore.
Black Americans have got to be hurting, and other minorities, especially because of this economy and the high inflation, as you mentioned, the jobs and so forth. So why are they still supporting this president and the Democrats?
Because this administration has done a wonderful spin, unfortunately. And when you have your, talking heads for the administration, which is mostly all the mainstream media, they spin it as, oh, this was caused by COVID. Oh, this was caused by Trump. Oh, this was basically, he's taking no responsibility of the state of this country.
Well, what's the best thing then that this president and the next one can do? Not pandering or making insincere promises to win votes, but what's the most important step that they could take to help American minorities genuinely?
I think the best step anyone can do, and this is one of the things the previous administration does, they had like enterprise area. They were trying to create enterprise areas so people could create their own jobs. So they create their own wealth. So they start their own businesses. I mean, people don't realize Black entrepreneurship and minority entrepreneurship was one of the highest under the previous administration. And everybody knows that's what grows an economy, is small businesses. So they invest more, try to help more small businesses, take off regulations I know a lot of regulations people say are aimed at big businesses, but guess what? Even if you aim those regulations at big businesses, if they get fined, they can easily pay them off, or they find runarounds because they are that big. They do not, regulations have a tendency to be one size fits all, instead of saying, hey, if you're a business this big, this is your regulation. But if you're a mom and pop, or if you're a small business, this is your regulation, because you are not going to do, or you can't do what this big business does. So it does need to be changed. Go back to, relaxing a lot of the regulations so people can create more businesses.
Okay, Project 21 Ambassador Marie Fischer, thank you for providing those insights. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much.